or one of the miniature sets from King Kong. Skull Island and a miniature boat. In order to drive by these sets, we're going to drive the tram right through the middle of the water with the help of a special effect. Watch this. Please part the water.
So let it be written, so let it be done.
It's just like the parting of the Red Sea. Oh, there's ducks in the water. Get out of the water, duck. The water's going down. Hey, duck, just here's a little tip. You can fly. There you go. Now, come on, you can do it. You can make it, little duck. Come on, duck. Get out of the water. You see this every day. You know this happens every day. Why are you doing it? Wait, come on. He's almost out. Ah, he made it. You know, it's going through his mind right now. What the heck was that? Okay, so we're going to drive right next to the miniature set that was used as part of Skull Island. The SS Venture is the boat that the crew was riding on in the film. And now you see what that boat looks like up close? I'm going to show you what it looked like in the movie. This is the same set in King Kong. That's the miniature boat. That's a very tiny man inside the boat. Miniature set of Skull Island. Miniature boat crashes in the miniature set. Miniature boat. And Jack Black fascinated with the miniature boat. So far on the tour, we have driven you through our city street sets. We drove through an old western town. And now we bring you to Little Europe, the part of our studio that we can make look like different countries. For example, if you've seen the movie The Muppets with Jason Segel, there's a scene in the film where they go to Paris to visit Miss Piggy. All of those Paris sequences were shot out here on the left side of the tram. This part of our backlot has been used by HBO for a few episodes of True Blood. Disney used them for the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean films. In the Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, Orlando Bloom's character, Will Turner, has a sword shop. That sword shop was on this street. About 4 months ago, Steve Carell and Jim Carrey were making a movie together out in this part of our backlot. It's probably a comedy. It's called The Incredible Wonderstone, and in the film, they played rival magicians. And that's going to be coming out in theaters next year. Back in the 1930s and 1940s, this part of our backlot was frequently used as London in a lot of our classic horror movies. It's right out here where we did scenes from Frankenstein, Dracula, The Wolfman, and The Invisible Man. It's a picture stop. We're going to stop the tram in front of the courtyard so you get a photo of the area where all those famous monsters roamed around. And in all those classic horror movies, they usually had angry villagers, and they had torches and pitchforks and bloodhounds, and they're trying to chase the monsters out of town. These are angry villagers running around this part of our backlot.
What is it now? The monster. He's in the woods. Get out the bloodhounds. Raise all the men you can, lock the women indoors, and wait for me.
Just lock the women indoors? It was a different time back then.
Why don't you shout it?
Here's an interesting bit of trivia. This is a scene from Bride of Frankenstein. This was released in 1935. 30 years before Star Trek. Yet, you are going to see Frankenstein's monster give this guy the Vulcan sleep hold. He does it faster than Spock. So far, all the sets we've seen on the tour have been our outdoor sets, or exterior sets, with the exception of King Kong, which was an interior set, but computerized. Now we're going to take you inside to show you an interior set that looks like a subway station. What you're about to see is a set that was used in an episode of Bones. And you usually don't get to see what the inside of a soundstage looks like, especially once a set has been built. But they've already finished shooting the episode, and they've taken most of the equipment out of the stage, so they've given us permission to drive right through to show you the set. Right now our Tran is on the loading platform, and there's a track on the left that runs the whole length of the stage. That's the track that was built for the subway train. Most productions like to film inside of sound stages as opposed to out on our back lot or on real city streets, because these stages are about 95% soundproof. The walls are really thick. Whoa! 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 Everybody remain seated. That's an earthquake! On the left side of the ramp, it's coming down. Everybody, hang on! There's a subway on the left side. It's coming this way. It jumped the track. Look out!
Oh my God.
Let's get out of here. The water main just broke.
Oh no.
I have a window. When we were pulling it into the stage, I mentioned that the set was used in an episode of Bone. In the episode, there was supposed to be an earthquake. They put some stuntmen at the bottom of the steps where the water comes down, and this is how it looked on the show. What's going on?
Let's get out of here! The water main just broke!
Nobody ever says that. Now that you've just seen an earthquake, we have to calm you down, take you to a peaceful part of our back lot. So Rory is bringing us to Amity Island because, of course, Amity is a word that means friendship. The beach has been closed because of all the shark attacks. We made a movie called Jaws about a shark on an island called Amity. We caught the shark. You can see it right from the hotel, but there's another shark that's been sighted in the area. They haven't caught it yet. There it is, right in the middle of the water. I don't think that guy knows the beach is closed. Sir, come up a minute. There's a shark in the water. Can you swim to the police? Can you swim to the boat before the shark? No? Are you okay? This shark ate him. Oh, look, the shark! It's going back to the other side of the water. It's swimming away from us. If we pull up behind the pier separates us from the shark. So the shark hit the pier. Hey, there's more gasoline. I see where the shark is. It's very sneaky. It's right next to us. You got wet again, didn't you? We're not done yet. We just came face to face with a great white killer shark inspired by the movie Jaws. That is not the same mechanical shark that was used in the film. Our shark works better than Steven Spielberg's shark. The shark that they built for the film was terrible. It never worked very well. It was always breaking, and it kept holding up the production. Steven Spielberg, Richard Dreyfuss, and Roy Scheider are going to tell you about some of the trouble they had on the set.
That's a much maligned shark. The shark was frustrating. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio mics. And they were always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working.
We just waited around. We just waited and waited and waited. The shark worked well enough. For a while there, it had the biggest hit of all time. So I really owe the shark a lot.
Look at that picture. That is Steven Spielberg. Very young Steven Spielberg. He's about 27 years old right there. Playing around in a shark mouth. He looks like he's having fun. Over the last 30 years, we've gotten a lot of use out of this White House on the right. It was built in 1982. This was first seen as Miss Mona's Chicken Ranch in our musical, The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. And it's been seen in a lot of television shows since then, like Murder, She Wrote, Quantum Leap, Ghost Whisperer, CSI, Parenthood, The Mentalist, Crossing Jordan, and Desperate Housewives. And as long as we're on the subject of Desperate Housewives, we're going to show you where they lived. For 8 years, the housewives lived on Wisteria Lane, and this is the set that was used for the show. The second house on the left side, the brown house, is where Gabrielle lived, played by Eva Longoria. Susan was played by Terry Hatcher, and she lived in the yellow house on the left. Bree was played by Marcia Cross. She lived across the street. She was on the right side of the tram in the blue house with the brick walkway. And Lynette, played by Felicity Huffman, lived in the greenhouse on the left. And don't worry about trying to get pictures of all the houses, because I can see people doing this. This street is a cul-de-sac. So we're going to loop around and we'll drive out in the opposite direction. So we'll be driving right by all those houses again. There's one last house I want to point out from the show. The pink house at the end of the road is where Edie lived, played by Nicolette Sheridan, and then Renee moved in, played by Vanessa Williams. As we drive back down the street one more time for pictures, I'm going to show you how the set looked on Desperate Housewives. Every single shot that you're going to see on the monitors was done on the street.
If there is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate, it's a good neighbor.
What the heck? Let's go back.
The Desperate Housewives just moved off this block a few months ago, and since then, a lot of productions have been done out here in the last few months. CSI filmed an episode out here. A few episodes of the Mindy Project were done here. We're making a new movie called The Little Rascals, which is based on the old short films, black and white movies with Spanky, Alfalfa, Porky, and Buckwheat. In the movie The Little Rascals, that's the street that they're going to be living on. It was used as Mockingbird Lane on the Munsters, and a new version of the Munsters, kind of an updated version of the show. It's called Mockingbird Lane. It's a special that's going to be on this Friday night on NBC. It stars Jerry O'Connell as Herman, Portia de Rossi as Lily, and Eddie Izzard as Grandpa. It's directed by Bryan Singer, who directed The Usual Suspects and the X-Men. The Munsters, the Little Rascals, and the Desperate Housewives aren't even the strangest neighbors that have lived out in this part of our studio. The strangest neighbors were the Who's. The Who's are very tiny creatures that lived on a snowflake in a town called Whoville. It was seen in our movie How the Grinch Stole Christmas, directed by Ron Howard. Our next stop on the tour is the town of Whoville.
One of the biggest creative challenges that we faced on How the Grinch Stole Christmas was to bring the storybook world of Dr. Seuss to life. Some of the most talented artists in